Fascism. It's a word that carries heavy historical weight. For many, it conjures images of authoritarian leaders, censorship, and war. But how does fascism take root? How does a democratic society slowly slide into dictatorship? In this video, we'll walk through the 10 steps that often pave the way for fascist regimes, drawing on lessons from history. Stick around to see if you can spot any of these signs in the world today. The first step on the path to fascism is the creation of an us versus them narrative. Leaders find a group to blame for society's problems, often minorities or political opponents. This tactic divides the nation and creates a common enemy for the majority to unite against. In Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler scapegoated the Jewish population, while Mussolini blamed communists for Italy's problems. This tactic builds fear and anger, laying the foundation for future repression. The next step? Undermining institutions. Democratic checks and balances, like the courts, the press, and educational systems, are vital for a free society. But fascist regimes work to weaken or discredit these institutions, making it easier to seize power. In Nazi Germany, Hitler used events like the Reichstag fire to justify emergency powers and bypass democratic processes. Without strong institutions, the road to authoritarianism becomes much clearer. A free press is the enemy of any authoritarian leader. Fascist regimes label the media as biased, dishonest, or fake news. By controlling the narrative, these leaders make it harder for the public to get accurate information. Mussolini famously said, "Journalism is propaganda." And in Nazi Germany, state-controlled media became a tool for spreading disinformation and rallying support for the regime. As fascism grows, law enforcement and military power expand, often in the name of national security. Police and military forces are given more authority to crush dissent, enforce laws, and protect the regime. Under Hitler, the SS and Gestapo became instruments of terror. Mussolini's black shirts patrolled the streets, attacking political opponents. In fascist regimes, law enforcement no longer protects the people. It protects the regime. A key step to fascism is the suppression of political opposition. Leaders imprison, exile, or even kill their rivals, making it impossible for dissent to challenge the regime. In Germany, Hitler purged his political rivals in what became known as the Night of the Long Knives. Mussolini made sure opposition parties were banned, silencing critics and removing democratic choices. Extreme nationalism is often at the heart of fascism. Leaders promote a sense of superiority and stoke fear of outsiders, convincing the public that the nation must defend itself at all costs. Hitler preached Aryan supremacy, while Mussolini pushed Italian expansion into Africa. Nationalism justifies aggression abroad and repression at home. As fascism tightens its grip, civil liberties start to disappear. Free speech, free assembly, and the right to protest are slowly eroded under the pretext of protecting national security. In Nazi Germany, the Nuremberg laws stripped Jews of their rights, while in Spain, Franco cracked down on civil liberties to maintain his control. When freedoms vanish, resistance becomes even harder. Fascist regimes often create a cult of personality, turning their leaders into near mythical figures. The leader is presented as the nation's savior, the only one capable of restoring its greatness. Mussolini was known as Il Duce, or the leader, and Hitler as Führer. Through propaganda and control of the media, these leaders built an image of invincibility, discouraging any challenge to their rule. Fascist regimes glorify the military and prepare society for conflict, both domestic and foreign. Young people are indoctrinated with militaristic values, and the idea of war is normalized. In Nazi Germany, the Hitler Youth trained young people for military service, while in Spain, Franco's regime pushed military values into schools and civic life. A militarized society is easier to control and easier to mobilize for aggression. The final step to fascism is the solidification of dictatorship. Once all opposition is crushed and democratic structures are dismantled, the leader takes full control, usually under the justification of national emergency. In 1934, Hitler merged the roles of president and chancellor, becoming the supreme leader of Germany. Mussolini followed suit, replacing Italy's parliament with a fascist council. By this point, the transition to dictatorship is complete. The rise of fascism is a slow, deliberate process. From creating division to dismantling institutions and civil liberties, these 10 steps show how authoritarian regimes can take hold. But the lessons of history are clear. The earlier we recognize these signs, the better chance we have of stopping them. It's up to us to stay informed, protect our democratic values, and ensure that the lessons of the past don't become the reality of the future. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into history and politics. Let's keep the conversation going. What do you think are the biggest threats to democracy today? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.